Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dr. Johnson with Alterman and Johnson Family Chiropractors, and you're joining us for Q&A with Doctors A and J. And this is intended to be a resource for our practice members and our community. And we're bringing in local support persons and professionals from the community to provide resources and practical tips for home that are in line with and relevant to the chiropractic lifestyle. So joining us today is Tara Young. Hi, Tara. Thanks for being
here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So Tara is a birth doula. And Tara, let's just start with having you talk to us about your story and how you came to be a birth doula.
Sure. It was honestly birth work was something I have always been interested in, but I was really kind of pushed into it by my own birth experiences. I think a lot of birth workers are drawn to it for that reason. I had two very different birth experiences with my son and my daughter, and being able to take a step back from those experiences and see what worked for one and didn't work for the other, and then implement those in helping other families was really what drove me towards becoming a birth doula, so that I could bring that positivity and the things that made me feel empowered and confident and supported to other families, so that they could feel the same way about their experience.
Well, I love that you want to empower women in birth. I think that's such a crucial thing to do, and especially in certain settings, women really need a birth support person that can bring that for them. So, we're living in interesting times right now, and you can tell us more about this, but I know that in certain settings, doulas are allowed to be with the birthing mom, and in other settings, they're not. And so then there's virtual support that's available. Mm-hmm. So talk to us about that, the different options and how that looks.
Well, it's an option that was not as widespread as it is now. Now it's kind of become an option out of necessity for a lot of families, which I actually think is really great to kind of make use of that option. Like you said, with local hospitals having certain restrictions, and even some families wanting to limit the potential exposure and not bring any more individuals into their birth space than necessary, they're looking into virtual support and what that might mean for their birth experience and their family. And it really is a great option. I hear a lot of people kind of going, well, what is it? What does it, what does that look like? But just because you're not there physically supporting them, you still provide information and education. You still help them learn to work with their partner so that they're prepared and so their partner knows how to support them. You're still available to them 24/7 when you still have like an on-call period like you would for in-person support. For my clients, they can reach me anytime, day or night. They can call, text, email. We do video calls through Zoom or other applications, so that they can ask questions, and I can send them resources, and they can be in constant contact with me throughout their birth. And postpartum, they get postpartum support with that as well. Check-ins, making sure they're doing okay, making sure everybody feels good about their experience, and if they don't, providing them an outlet to talk about it and get them connected with other resources if need be. It's still a very viable option.
Okay. Well, and I think what you just said, what you ended that with, being able to refer them for other resources and support if that's necessary, that's an important piece. But let's just back up a minute. So obviously, in a typical scenario, you would be right there with mom. You'd have visits face to face. You'd be at the hospital or birthing center or home with her. But in a virtual world, the prenatal visits are basically the same, just not face to face over a platform like Zoom. Yes.
Yeah.
And then what does the birth look like? Are you there with the parents through some of it, through all of it, on an as needed basis? How does that look during the actual birth?
As far as physical support, physically being there?
No, virtually being there.
virtually. It's so unique to each birth. It's tailored support to whatever they need. So if they want me on a video call through the entire thing as much as possible, I'm available for it. If they want to keep me on the phone through the entire thing, I'm available, just like I would if I were offering in-person support. I would be ready to go, ready to be there, to be with them as long as they needed me to be. The same applies to virtual support. It's just done a little differently, done from a distance.
And even virtually, you can tune into the mom's cues and ask for questions and be there to guide dad or partner in how to be the best support that they can be.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's great. So you're going to share some information, some tips that moms can use in the prenatal period as well as through their birth. And what are we going to start with?
So one thing that I like to talk to my clients about, and families preparing for birth in general, is things that they can easily do at home, on their own, or with a partner, and that transition well to wherever they are choosing to birth. So one big thing is movement. Movement is so important to get your pelvis relaxed and help all of those ligaments loosen up and help the baby to get in a good position and to provide comfort. A lot of times if you're sitting in one spot and you're having contractions, it's not going to be super comfortable. So learning to follow your body's cues, your intuition, work with your baby and get moving, whether it's sitting on your birth ball and doing hip circles. You can turn on your favorite playlist and dance, slow dance with your partner. Go for a walk outside. Even during quarantine, we can go for a walk around the neighborhood and get some fresh air. And that will really help with comfort, getting through contractions, tuning into your baby and what your body needs. It's huge. And it's not only something for an unmedicated labor. I encourage families to look into this for epidural births as well. If they are choosing to receive medication for pain at the hospital, it's still really important to keep moving, to rotate every half hour or so that it makes it easier for baby to move down and into a great position once you actually get to the pushing stage, and keep things moving. Keep things moving so your labor is less likely to stall.
I think that's really good advice that you had, even if it's a medicated birth, even if there's an epidural, that movement is really important. And any way that we look at it, the body functions best when there's movement involved. And so as a chiropractor, we're always talking to moms about movement as well. And in birth, we always want to apply gentle movements, right? Because
right.
The ligaments are a little bit more lax. And so the things that you mentioned, hip circles on the birthing ball, going for walks every day if possible, even gentle yoga stretches, really
right.
nice supportive forms of movement.
Absolutely.
All right. So Tara, thank you for sharing that information. Tell us how parents can find you. We'll attach the links as well, but just go ahead and tell us how they could get in touch with you if they wanted to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. My website is tarayoungfl.com. They can reach me through there. I have a contact form on my website that I can be reached through. I'm also on Instagram under Tara Young FL and on Facebook as Tara Young Photography and Birth Services.
Okay, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk about the photography at another time. But again, Tara, thank you so much for sharing with us, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.